The Dallas Cowboys have introduced their latest head coach. They dropped it in the middle of the evening on Friday.
It's generally when you drop bad news.
That's true. Not going to lie.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell you this. Now, the NFL Network Research Department sent out a sheet, a packet. You could see 2025 hot seat head coach and candidates research notes.
Ooh.
So they
damn act together.
Yeah, they identified the spots where there might be new head coaching vacancies. They mentioned the Titans and the Giants. They stayed put. But they had the 3 interims, and then they also mentioned Mike McCarthy, Gerard Mayo, Doug Peterson, Antonio Pierce as potential guys to be fired, and they all did.
Oof. Well, a script like me.
And then they identified 15 coaches that could be interviewed for possible jobs, and they put Rex Reiner because he was already interviewed. Same with Ron Rivera. Brian Schottenheimer's name is not on here.
Wow.
The research department didn't even fathom that could be possible.
I don't know if that's funny or not funny. They kept it on the down low because they didn't want anybody to come and take it. But I'm not going to say that. I could say that.
Brian Schottenheimer's been at it for a long time, to the point where I met him, and I think I had sushi with him and his wife, and at the Pro Bowl in the mid-aughts when we first were there. Son of Marty. Brian Schottenheimer's been around, and he's been coordinators in places, and he showed up in Dallas after Kellen Moore hit the road when Mike McCarthy was there. And if Dak Prescott wanted continuity, he's getting it. And he is the 3rd internal head coaching hire in the history of the franchise. And he spent 14 seasons as an offensive coordinator with the Jets, Rams, Seahawks, and Cowboys. So he's been around a minute. Just nobody thought he would be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That is for sure. And Schottenheimer had this to say when he was announced earlier this morning.
One of my greatest strengths is my ability to create relationships. Relationships that are built on trust, respect, connection. I'm really good with X's and O's, but I'm great with people. And the type of men that we have in this locker room are excited about that. And so I think as we build this thing out, as the culture comes together of this team, that's where I feel like my greatest impact will be felt.
He sounds a little like his dad, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's got like that Marty cadence to him. I wish his dad was alive to see this. It'd be a pretty neat moment for him and his family. And look, there's many reasons to crap all over this idea. Seriously. I have no idea. Nobody has any idea. I keep going back to this moment as well. All right. Susie tells this story all the time. When she was covering Pete Hackett, Nathaniel's dad, at USC. Paul Hackett.
Former Pitt coach.
Paul Hackett, Nathaniel Hackett's dad. He was out here at USC, and it was falling to crap, and Carson Palmer was not looking good. And USC went outside the family and hired a guy that, was in the pros.
Yep.
And they hired a guy and let's see if we can get him to USC. He's got no connection to USC. Let's bring him to USC. And people are like, Pete Carroll, really?
Yep.
Who was perfect for the moment. Another one. And I'm being as generous as I possibly can here. And another one. When Don Mattingly finally made the playoffs in 1995, after never having made it, and he hit a home run against the Mariners in that playoff series, and Jeter was coming, and there was a whole bunch of kids in the pipeline coming, and they fired the manager who brought the Yankees to the playoffs and had them as the best team in 1994. And if it wasn't for the strike, the Yankees would have made the World Series then. Yeah. And Buck Showalter, who knew all of these kids who were coming up out of the minors and getting ready to be the core of the Yankees' future, and they bounced him for a retread named Joe Torre. All of New York was like, this guy? Really? The guy who crapped out with the Mets? This guy? We're going to get him? This guy? turned out to be perfect for the moment. So for anybody out here saying this guy's going to be garbage or crap, we have no earthly idea. But there's a lot of people, the reason why they're crapping on it as well is because Jerry Jones made the pick. And it's out of nowhere, and it makes little sense when you've got Bill Belichick sitting out there saying, maybe you can buy me out, or Deion Sanders was sitting there in Colorado answering a telephone call from Jerry Jones. And all the other hot coordinators are out there who have just been there and done that in their own rights for people, for teams that haven't churned him out. So he was on Dallas, and he is sitting in there, and he's not going to be as expensive as other people. And you don't have to buy him out. All you got to do is just keep him there. And his press conference can have 5 people sitting in it while there's a million around this guy, the owner. So people wondering what his intentions are. So let's ask him himself. I'm told this is a cut-down answer to 2.5 minutes. From 10 minutes?
Oh, my.
Really?
He went on for a while, yeah.
It was the first question asked, why did you hire Brian Schottenheimer? This is what Jerry Jones had to say.
I've been around a lot of coaches. As a matter of fact, I wanted to be a coach. Except I wanted to live better than I thought coaches live. I wanted to drive a little bigger car, and I wanted to fly in an airplane. Had I known what I'm paying them now, I'd have been a damn coach. I have a good background in the makeup of what a coach is. To think that you could make a decision in an interview and not have talked, if you didn't and hadn't ever communicated or had a visit, I wouldn't dare have had an interview unless I talked to many, many people that knew that person. Now, I get my proverbial ass kicked over needing people in my comfort zone. Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. As big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience. That let me share something with you. With all of that, you've just heard him reference his osmosis, his family. Anybody in this room that doesn't believe the apple doesn't go far from the tree has missed it someplace down the road. I've read where I don't have a penchant for risk-taking. If you really knew my score sheet, you would see that I've taken more risk in the last 5 years than the rest of my life put together. And sometimes I don't know when I look in that mirror why the risk is taken. With it there. And what I would say for the fans is that, yes, to some, and it might be couched as a less than glamorous hire. What I would say to you is I got here taking shots and not shoddy shots.
All right. Now, that sounds like that was written by Taylor Sheridan, right?
That's what I mean. I don't know.
And unfortunately is that, that message that Jerry Jones delivered, written by Taylor Sheridan, was delivered to a patient that didn't do very well afterwards. Spoiler alert. But listen, it is a risk. That's for damn sure. It is a risk to go ahead and go with somebody who's never done it before. But the good news is, unlike his previous hire, when he says, I've watched every snap of offensive football over the last couple of years from the Dallas Cowboys,
true.
you know he has.
Yeah.
Because he was there coordinating it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the predecessor, who kind of Biff Lomaned his way into the spot in that regard a little bit. Look it up. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. Anybody who says that they know that this is a mess in the making doesn't know. We have no idea. I have no idea. It is a risk. So for someone who's risk averse, But you also heard him talk about, from what I'm paying coaches, he does not want to pay a coach. I think he is clearly an idea that a coach that wants to make 15, 16, 17, 20 million bucks a year, I can get somebody, in the same way that people view running backs. Why do I need to pay a running back $15 million when I can pay $1.5 and get the same results?
Because he knows he's ultimately the coach. So
Yeah,
why is he going to pay somebody else to do the job that he's already doing?
Right.
That's it.
He doesn't have a general manager because he thinks he can do it.
Do you really think he comes up with the plays? Do you really deep down think that? Do you really think that?
No,
Yes.
I don't think he doesn't deep down come up with the X's and O's, but
Right.
it's very obvious that he's running things like from top to bottom. He's not sitting there writing up a play sheet, perhaps, but this is uninspiring, man. It really is.
He even admitted, I don't understand it's not the most inspiring, but
so as a fan base, how are you selling me on this? If you're going out there and you're telling us that this is uninspiring.
No, he understands that it's not as inspiring, but just wait till you see what he can do. That he has spoken to a bunch of people who know him, that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that his dad did instill in him what it takes to be a head coach. I don't know. We can't sit here and say that this is impossible. Is it probable?
I can say it's
I understand
impossible.
that we can have that conversation, but I am surprised. If you give Dion what he wants and you give him all the cash in the world, that what he wants, and to bring his assistant coaches that he would bring, and to bring everything else that he would bring, to me that's what you're looking for. Just like the old school Dallas Cowboys, where everybody can't get enough of them. They can't stop talking about them. They can't stop talking about them because just like the Chiefs now, you're sick and tired of watching them do what they're doing to everyone else, which is just beating the crap out of everybody and winning championships. And they haven't done that in over 30 years. And if this guy is the one who actually restores the Cowboys to all that, then we can look back on this day and go, this guy was right. If he wasn't, it's just more the same, isn't it?
Yeah, what's more likely?
I mean,
Isn't it?
You don't know.
I'll take more of the same for
By the
$1
way,
billion, Alex.
you are also aware that if it is Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator, that's not too bad in its own right also.
Oh, and no one's going to be plucking him for a head coach anytime soon.
There is that too, by the way.
Yeah.
And, what you're paying, you could pay him less, and it's offset by what the Bears were giving him.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Some of
another way to save money.
Again,
if Jerry's talking about, like, I would have been a head coach if I saw, they're flying.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not, though.
No, but I know that. But you just also heard how he values what a coach makes. And you kind of saw it in his comment. And you hear it from everyone that reports on the league and his 2 cents on how he views coaches and what their worth is and what they're being paid and what you actually get out of it. And all I'm thinking to myself is, I don't understand that, because if I have more billions and billions and billions than anyone else, and what is it to me to actually pay somebody?
Look what he does with the players who makes them wait,
That's what I'm
Rich.
talking about, man.
He makes the players wait to get paid.
To not pay the resources to that position because you think it's not worth it and you can allocate your dollars elsewhere better. To me, it's just like, you can't take it with you.
Exactly. Spend it now.
But like I said, for us to sit here and crap all over it saying there's no chance it's going to happen, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, let me tell you what's not going to happen.
You don't know. We don't know.
We got the third best team in our conference. We arguably got the third best quarterback. I don't see this changing.
Division, TJ. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, division.
Division, my bad. Yeah. I wish we had the third best.
You wish you were third best.
I wish that. Division, yes. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm just so annoyed. I
get
can't
it.
think straight.
You were second best in the conference last year.
I get it.
A 2 seed going in the NFC playoffs last year. 2.
Okay.
Just 1 year ago.
And Dak gets hurt
every year.
And now you're less than at head coach than Mike McCarthy. Like, what are we doing?
This is all happening, man.
You don't come back better after tearing your hamstring and breaking ankles and fingers.
Yeah.
Like you don't come back.
But
better.
you're stuck with him because of the terrible contract Jerry gave him. You can't get off of him.
That's true. I think right now it's a $90 million cap hit next year.
Rich, it is.
That they're going to have to figure that one out. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.